The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. And as always, it's so great to have you waking up with us. Some good temperatures still lingering across the country today, but for more on your weather outlook for the week, here's Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean.
This weather report is sponsored by Bank of the Bahamas, the bank of solutions.
Good morning, LaDawn. Well, we woke up to some mild temperatures this morning, and that's because that high pressure has finally collapsed. But there is a little mid-level trough making its way into the central and southeast Bahamas that could provide some showers in that part of the country today. But outside of our studios, it is partly cloudy. Your temperature at 70 degrees. Relative humidity 82%. We have easterly winds at 9 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,020.7 millibars. That's 30.14 inches, and it is steady. Temperatures this morning in the Abacos, 71 degrees in Marsh Harbor, Grand Toll Key at 70 degrees. Freeport, 70 degrees. In the Berry Islands, 72. Alistown, Bimini, 73. 72 in Harbor Island. Roxanne and Luttrell also reporting 72 degrees. In Artisan, Cat Island, 71. 72 in Stanley Key, Kemps Bay, South Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. In San Salvador, 71. Rim Key at 71 degrees. 73 in Rygat Island. Clarence Sound, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands, all at 73. Another 73 in Matutani, Nagua, the Turks and Caicos Islands at 74 degrees. And if you're flying out this morning, well, here's some high and low temperatures you're likely to find at some of your favorite cities. And that's going to do it for your travel forecast. Now for your boating forecast for today. In the northwestern Bahamas, northeast to east winds, the speeds around 12 to 18 knots. The wave height 3 to 6 feet with a margin chop. High tide 9:52 this morning. The low tide will take place at 4:10 this afternoon. Now for the central and southeastern islands, northeast east winds 15 to 20 knots. The wave height 4 to 7 feet. So we have a caution flag in place for boaters in the central and southeast Bahamas. That's going to do it for your first look at Weather the Morning Edition. Stay tuned. Your forecast for today and tonight is still ahead.
Thanks a lot, Basil. Meanwhile, Desmond Saunders and the Morning Edition team is standing by with the Bahamas First traffic report.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Good morning, LaDawn, and good morning, Bahamas. I'm coming to you from the roundabout here at Goodman's Bay. It's all about a Wellness Wednesday, and let me tell you, the streets are crowded. A number of people are making their way, heading out to work, heading out to school. But I'm here at Goodman's Bay, a number of people out here to get their exercise on, to jog, and to get well, and to get fit. Joining me live on the broadcast this morning, Sergeant Jerome Thompson. A bit chilly out here, but we're having fun. It's all about a Wellness Wednesday, as I said earlier. What are some of those areas motorists should avoid this morning?
Good morning to you. Good morning, Bahamas. We like to advise motorists that they have some ongoing works in the area of Nassau Street. You have a lot of uneven surfaces. So we ask motorists in that area to pay particular attention, slow down while in that area. You have poor friction value on the road. Mm-hmm. So if you have to brake suddenly, you might slide and end up being in a crash. So we ask persons to if you can, avoid that area, but if you have to, use that thoroughfare to drive cautiously. And also I noticed that there are some ongoing road works in the area of Bay Street and the Bow Street, East Bay Street and the Bow Street. So we ask persons if they can avoid those areas. And if you must travel in those areas, think about your safety and the safety of those men that are doing that road work. We need persons to adhere to the speed limit. And just to drop it about 10 miles less, because it's 25 miles per hour in that area. So if you travel about 15 miles per hour, it should be no issues.
I know over the last week, traffic police have been making a number of traffic checks in different areas of New Providence. That continues this week, right?
Yes, you should expect that to continue until we get some of these crashes down, especially the more serious ones, the fatalities, and also the hit-and-run accidents.
Let's talk about the hit and run, because that's a very, very serious issue on the streets. A very high number of incidents, as a matter of fact.
Yes, persons, they would get involved in an accident and fail to remain stationary on the scene, which is a charge. Persons would flee for a number of reasons. One of those reasons might be shock. Some persons, when they get in a crash, they react differently to being in a crash. Sometimes those persons will come to the station and report that murder. It is very important to report these murders. Also, persons that don't have any insurance, they would flee the scene because they don't have any insurance, and they rather try to escape the long hand of justice, that is, rather than to face the music. And also, we have persons that don't possess a driver's license, who should not be on the road. Those persons these are the kind of people that we recognize at the end of our investigation that are responsible for a lot of these hit-and-run accidents.
All right. Thank you very much, Sergeant Jerome Thompson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, joining me live here at the roundabout at Goodman's Bay, buzzing with a whole lot of activity. In just a few minutes, we're going to both get our fitness thing going here, so it should be good. Some exercise is always good, right?
Yeah, exercise is always good, and I'm glad you mentioned that. We want pedestrians in this area and the modern public to be safe. Safety is both pedestrian and motorist responsibility. So we ask the pedestrians to not to walk distracted. That is walking with an electronic device. Those earbuds are very distracted because you want to see what's going on and you want to hear what's going on. And where you don't have sidewalks, we ask persons to walk facing the traffic so you could see potential danger. And we also need motorists not to be distracted as well, not to use any electronic devices, turn the music down in the vehicle, not too loud, be aware of your surroundings.
Some very, very good advice, Sergeant Jerome Thompson from the Traffic Division of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, especially as you have a number of joggers in this area. Some very, very good advice for joggers. So back to you in the studio, LaDon.
Coming up in the morning edition, all the things motorists need to keep in mind while on the road. Stay tuned.
Like anybody, when you go to a foreign country, you don't want to just see the shops and cameras and watches and walk the streets and that sort of thing. You want to see the country that you're visiting.
The People to People program shares her story with the morning edition, so keep it locked. Health officials clearing the air over the accommodations for quarantined individuals. Minister of Health, Dr. The Honorable Dwayne Sands, denied that quarantine patients are being housed or being cared for in tents on the grounds of the Princess Margaret Hospital. At least 30 people have been under quarantine since the emergence of the novel coronavirus. So far, 2 people remain under quarantine. However, Sands would not say where they are being kept.
Bear in mind that this thing is evolving. We needed to have a place as early as 2 weeks ago where we could manage patients, even as we retrofitted areas within Princess Margaret Hospital. With each passing day, the reality changes. And so now the place where we manage patients is different. That tent either will be moved or has been moved as we build a new unit on the premises. And then as we build the unit at the Defense Force, things will change again.
Meantime, the hotel union taking a proactive stance against the coronavirus or COVID-19. President Darren Wood says they're sensitizing their membership and are taking steps to reach out to the Ministry of Health as hotel workers are on the front line.
This is a serious issue, and we've also said to the association or we intend to reach out to the Minister of Health to find out what the union can do on a national level, because our people, whether it's in the laundry, the food and beverage, the housekeeping area, they come into contact with these people. And I don't mean these people in a derogatory way. We come into contact with them, and so we have to make sure that our people are first sensitized to the seriousness of it. They also have what they need to protect themselves, and they do so. So we are doing what is necessary In another place, there was a visit to one of the properties that we represent on San Salvador by the Minister of Health. And so our shop stewards up there were in a part of whatever was going on to ensure that they know what is happening so they could also inform our members to make sure, because we are not taking anything for granted.
Well, although the Bahamas still has no cases of the coronavirus, the Bahamas Christian Council is also set to meet with the health minister to hear best practices on the way forward. A meeting is scheduled for this morning. Following that session, clergymen will return to their respective congregations to introduce a new policy as early as Sunday. While a number of events are canceled across the United States due to the spread of the coronavirus, hundreds of spring breakers are flocking right here to the Bahamas. While they look forward to the enjoyment, they are also sharing their views with our Antoinette Smith.
Schools and universities may be shutting down all across America, but for these college students, it's business as usual.
The coronavirus actually hasn't hit anywhere near this place. Otherwise, we wouldn't probably have not come.
These are the sentiments of many travelers amid fears of possible exposure to COVID-19. The virus bringing a halt to many things, including the steady stream of the travel industry. But even then, spring break continues to draw massive crowds. Today, a flock of students 1,000 strong, visiting with college party crews.
We on the cruise, nobody talks about coronavirus. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's washing their hands. The cruise line does a great job at cleaning up. They disinfect everything. Elevator buttons every 15 minutes. You don't see that kind of sanitizing anywhere else.
And even if they were scared, most students say despite school shutdowns, the annual rites of passage is just not something you want to miss.
I was kind of scared. I definitely brought Clorox wipes and wiped down the whole airplane. I looked like that crazy chick. I did it with hand sanitizer, and I saw people with a lot of masks, so yeah, it was a little scary, but you just kind of have to trust it.
I actually had a professor, and he said when we get back from spring break, we might not have class, but I'm not really sure what will happen to that. We'll see when we get back, obviously.
Now, College Party Cruise President David Lazarus says far less than 10% of travelers canceled their trips or even showed concern about their visit to the Bahamas. And he says, well, there's a reason for that.
They only have 4 years in school. This is one of the years. So you can either continue as planned or stay home and do nothing for spring break, and you basically lose one of your best years of your life because people are scared.
Their motto, keep calm and party on. Antoinette Smith, ZNS Network News.
She's a former educator, social activist, and etiquette coach that's made a tremendous impact in the lives of thousands of young Bahamians. And in her early years, she played a key role in the implementation of the People to People program. As we continue our series promoting women, we share with you the story of a phenomenal woman who keeps getting better with age.
I feel humbled by all this award.
Beverly Wallace-Whitfield may be 92 years old, but in her own quiet space, she loves gardening and walking around her Village Road home. This exemplary Bahamian woman has quite an active public life, and so much so that she's rubbed shoulders with many local and international leaders. You see, the People to People initiative, which gives visitors a homely Bahamian experience, was born out of her office when she served in the External Affairs Division in the Ministry of Tourism. And it's an experience the first People to People volunteer says she thoroughly enjoyed.
We went to the Nazareth Home for Children with the social worker and so on, because in the early days, and not sure if they still do it, I'm sure they probably do, they tried to match the visitor with the local in interest, so that we had something in common. We could share this, and I could show them the Bahamian aspect of things. And it was very interesting because like anybody, when you go to a foreign country, you don't want to just see the shops and cameras and watches and walk the streets and that sort of thing. You want to see the country that you're visiting. I can remember one female who came from Europe with her sons, and I thought they might be interested in soccer. So I took them to Fort Charlotte, where soccer was being played at that time. And another visitor came and went to church with me.
Wallace-Whitfield says she, along with other volunteers, have forged good relationships with participants and are all pleased with the direction the initiative is headed.
It is through this program where you get visitors from all countries of the world, and you share what we do, how we live, and how we talk, our music, our everything, our whole nature. We have that opportunity of spreading the word, showing we stuff. One of the aspects that I must ask if they still do it was you could adopt a foreign student. And I had one. I had a daughter, and my neighbor down the road had one. And we became so involved with their lives that my neighbor had the wedding reception, her wedding reception, in her garden. You know, we would give parties and dinners.
And believe it or not, Wallace-Whitfield will celebrate her 93rd birthday in grand style on September 17th. She jokingly admits that staying active keeps her brain ticking.
I'm, for instance, chairman of the scholarship committee at my church, which is an important role. I love it because I'm a former school teacher, and we're educating some of our young people from the parish. And I'm still a Red Cross volunteer, and it may be in name only, but and I still lecture when I'm asked. And I'm on the telephone all the time answering questions because people know that I have that protocol and etiquette background. So they'll call and ask me questions, ask for advice.
Here's the direction the tourism ambassador would like to see the initiative take in the future.
I would like that program of adopting a foreign student encouraged. I hope it hasn't faded out. I would like to see that because we now have the University of the West of the Bahamas, and we're going to have the dormitories, you know, more of them built and occupied. So there are going to be students from countries abroad. So I would like to see that program emphasized because it's a wonderful thing.
Still to come, the Morning Edition speaks live with the Chief Census Officer as enumerators are hitting the pavement. Welcome back to the Morning Edition. The Department of Statistics is into its third day of the census pre-test as preparations are being made for the national 2020 census. In studio live this morning is Chief Census Officer 2020, Kim Saunders. Kim, welcome to the Morning Edition.
Thank you so much, LaDawn.
So Kim, talk to me a little bit about the drive. How are things going so far?
The pre-test drive is going very well. We have many reports from our workers who are currently in the field. They are making notes of challenges, and we are documenting them so we can further improve for the upcoming census in September 2020.
And explain to us the goal of this pre-test.
The pre-test is like a mini census. A census is the most expensive and massive project undertaken by any statistical office. So testing all phases of the activity is very crucial. It's even more crucial this year because the census has gone digital. Rather than using paper and pencil as we have done in the past, enumerators will visit dwellings, selected dwellings in New Providence and Grand Bahama with their tablets. So this process is very crucial so we can assess all of our workflows, the questions that are being asked, every phase from data collection to analysis and dissemination of the data to the public.
And speaking of data, what are some of the key information that your enumerators are getting from this particular test, I guess going door to door in these households?
We normally refer to the census just as census. The correct, or the full name is the Census of Population and housing. Population, because it speaks to the people. We receive a count, as well as specific information is asked as relates to age, sex, religion, marital status, education and training. The housing aspect deals with the housing stock in terms of the type of fuel, cooking fuel that the household may use, the main type of water supply. We ask about number of bedrooms, which also gives an indication of overcrowding, so we could compare ourselves to other countries.
Now, I know the pretest comes to an end on this Sunday. Talk to us about, I guess, the initial process. What happens next after the pretest is finished?
Once the pretest ends on Sunday, we have given ourselves the remainder of the month to assess all the challenges, have a look at what took place, make changes where necessary, collaborate with other agencies, both local and international, as the need may be. And then we make plans to proceed for our main census, beginning with the training in the month of May for all levels of workers.
And will the census just be for New Providence and Grand Bahama, or will it be extended to other islands?
When we refer to the census means 100% enumeration. That's every individual, regardless of sex, age, nationality. It refers to the entire country, wherever persons live or can live. The census would cover every single island, every key throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
How effective has the census been over the years?
The department has conducted censuses from 1970, every 10 years since its inception in 1968, and the census has provided a wealth of information and knowledge. Investors, students use the information. It gives a wide source of data. We normally refer to it as nationwide statistics. It's been very successful in allowing planners and investors to make informed decisions.
And what message you want to send out to the public as your enumerators continue to, I guess, conduct their census reports?
To the public, I would like to encourage the public, both in New Providence and Grand Bahama, if your home or dwelling is selected, to please accommodate the enumerators and to provide truthful and accurate information. As a growing country, nation, we need valuable, accurate information to make informed decisions. So the response of the public is very important. And we appreciate the response and cooperation in times past, and we are encouraging and advising the public to continue to do likewise.
Kim Saunders, thank you so much for joining us here on the Morning Edition, and best of luck to you and your enumerators as you continue the 2020 Census Initiative. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. A new initiative is being launched in Grand Bahama to ensure that residents build back better and stronger. The Grand Bahama Port Authority, in conjunction with its sector shelter partners and other NGOs, are launching the building program. Here's Shashina Rowe-Farquharson.
Watch as their homes were torn apart by Category 5 Hurricane Dorian back in September. Now it is time to build back better. That's the name of a Grand Bahama Port Authority initiative that is focusing on educating residents on ways to rebuild stronger in the event of another hurricane. Chief Building Manager Dudley Francis.
The area of the roof that's usually most susceptible are like persons who are having gable roofs. And so what we are recommending is that when contractors are doing their work, first of all, they pay attention to the type of nailing system that they're using. So instead of using nails that just have a smooth shank without having any grip that would be anchored into the wood, they want to pay attention and use something that have a ring shank or go with screws. These would provide a much better fastener, so that's number one. Number two, they also should pay attention to the roof as far as bracing, trusses, rafters, those sort of things. Very simple. That's not going to cost that much.
And here's what he says you should also know when rebuilding.
The other part of the roof that usually we look around the city, we see a lot of failures are like roof tiles, especially where you have barrel roof tiles. We want to encourage contractors not just to put those tiles on and do what they call mud it in, but they should also make sure that all the holes in the tiles are properly filled. Same thing when it comes to like asphalt shingle roofing, making sure that the way they start out installing those shingle finishes, that they follow the manufacturer's specification. That's extremely important.
Francis also adds that it is important for persons to ascertain work permits.
The average homeowner obviously would be looking at their cost, and one of the things that we want to also drive home is that whatever works are being done, that persons must come into, in the case of where they're doing works in the port area, come in and apply for a building permit. One of the things that we've been doing since the hurricane is that we have been offering discounts and in many cases total waiver of a building permit fee. So cost should not prevent persons from coming in and actually applying for a building permit.
For more information, you can visit the local port department located at the Piper Manor.
Thanks a lot, Rashida. And still to come, a live fitness special you don't want to miss, so keep it locked. Welcome back. Road safety is everyone's business, and in this report, our Crystal Darling tells us why it's so important to be careful while on our streets. Take a look.
We can say whether or not a vehicle might be responsible for an accident. No. You're responsible for your vehicle.
Not knowing is not an excuse when the law is broken, and that goes for traffic laws too. Officers from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division say that when pulled over, there are a number of offenses many motorists claim to be unaware of. Head of the Police Traffic Division, Chief Superintendent Craig Stubbs, tells us about the speed limit.
In some cases where you don't see the speed limit posted, it's a 30 miles per hour automatic by law. Where there are no signs posted for indicating speed, the speed limit is 30 miles per hour. School zones, 5 miles per hour. Pedestrian zones, 5 miles per hour. All those signs or street markings are there to regulate traffic. And if you abide by those rules and regulations, you wouldn't be involved in no accident. We have less accidents on the street if you have more conscious drivers who pay more attention to their surroundings, drive defensive, and more importantly, obey the speed limit, obey the signs that are posted in these on the streets.
And police say they have seen an uptick in the amount of traffic incidents where motorists collide with street signs, cones, and lights. Stubbs explains their role in the restoration process of street signs.
We have cases where, let's say during the early morning hours, person would either struck a guardrail, struck a traffic signal, and blatantly they just leave the scene and did not report the matter. In some cases, we have had the assistance of the CCTV at various junctions, intersections, or sometimes private residents who will assist us in identifying those vehicles, and we pursue them and we charge them. And in some cases, there's no insurance again. That is why we find a lot of them would have left the scene, or they are driving a relative or a friend's vehicle, and they are not covered to drive that vehicle. One of the main reasons they failed to remain stationary after the accident.
And once the police step in, their main priority is to ensure traffic flows.
In some cases, we will divert traffic from that area, especially if we think it's a danger to other motorists or to other road users. We divert traffic from that areas. We investigate. Ministerial works in cases is communicated with, and in terms of let them know you have a damaged traffic control box, a damaged traffic light, a damaged guardrails around certain corridors, and especially when those rails are extending into the path of oncoming traffic. Yes, there's the emergency crew comes in, they assist, but what we normally do will be we'll document that in our investigation.
And if the driver is not insured or has fled the scene, the government is left with the bill.
It comes a burden back to the public purse where there's no insurance. The government now has to use its funds to make sure that the infrastructures, the traffic lights, signals, or the guardrails, whatever, are replaced in order for us to now to have the continuous regulation of traffic.
And of course, the most important thing is to be mindful and pay attention when using the road. For the Morning Edition, I'm Crystal Darling.
Thanks a lot, Crystal. Stay close. We've got more right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition. Well, it's still cool on the outside, but many are up and about working out. Desmond Saunders is at Goodman's Bay and is getting involved in some of the activities. Good morning again, Desmond.
Good morning, LaDonna. Good morning, Bahamas. I'm coming to you live from Goodman's Bay. Let me tell you, buzzing with a whole lot of activity. A number of people are out here jogging and getting fit. It's all about a Wellness Wednesday. I've got with me this morning fitness guru, sports trainer, sports physician, I call him, Kent Bazard. Good morning. How you doing?
Happy to be here, Desmond.
It feels good to be out here. The energy is just superb.
It does feel good.
Phenomenal.
There's few things like a Bahamian morning, man. It's great to be out here.
All right. So tell us about the importance of fitness and wellness. You're a trainer and you work with athletes all around the world. Why is fitness so important?
Well, just for the average person, the regular person, fitness is all about, and wellness is all about keeping our body working right. Mm-hmm. Just to summarize what it is. And as we get older, we tend to neglect our bodies. We tend to be less active. And what's been shown now in most recent studies is that one of the most common causes of debilitating disease later in life is low activity. Mm-hmm. So that's why the trend is now, especially in the 35 and up crowd, is to be more active and not just do the walking laps thing, but actually do, real exercise that they thought they can't, or they think they can't do because they're too old. But be more active, do more resistance exercise and more cardio.
How do we keep our immune systems up? You are aware of the global epidemic, coronavirus, which has grabbed a lot of headlines internationally and locally. Tell us, how can we keep our immune systems up? And what's the greatest defense against some of these illnesses?
Well, as a sports physician, my first tool is the exercise prescription. And the reason why we use the exercise prescription is because exercise has been connected to pretty much a global improvement of health. Now, specifically to the immune system, exercise is shown to upregulate the body's defenses. So having a body that's fit and in shape can help defend yourself against most illnesses. Now, speaking directly about the virus, a virus is something that's very difficult to treat. You kind of just have to just ride out the storm, so to say. Like when we get the flu, you just kind of just have to treat the symptoms and kind of ride out the storm, wait for your body to recover itself. And that's why having a body that's in shape is so important.
And talking about body getting in shape, we're going to get in shape. Betty, LaDon, those there, ZNS, I'm getting in shape this year. I don't know about you guys. But Kent Bazard, he's my new fitness trainer, right. And he's going to give me some skills and some exercises that I'm going to do now and that you can do at home, whether you're 5 years old, you're 20, 21. Let's go through it right now. Right. Don't laugh at me, guys. So, we're taking the fitness serious this year.
What we're going to start with now, this is a small circuit that I do. It's 5 exercises. And what's good about this is it can scale. So we're going to do the most basic level, but you can do things, you can add weights, you can change the reps, you can change the time. You can change the sets. So, firstly, we do 3 sets of 5.
3 sets of 5.
3 sets of 5 exercises. So, here are the 5 exercises. The first exercise, jumping jacks.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Let's do the jumping jacks.
Like I tell my kids, open, close. It's really easy. Open, close. There we go. Open, close. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, for the first set, we go to 20. Okay, so 20 jumping jacks is the first exercise. Second exercise is push-ups. We do 10 of these. Everybody knows how to do push-ups? Palms flat for now, chest down. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do 5 of these and 5. Now, we're going to do, for the exercise, we'll do 10 of those, okay? The next one is called mountain climbers. So mountain climbers, go back to push-up position. You're going to bring your knee to your chest, tighten your abs, tighten your core. All right?
Tighten the core.
All right, you're going to bring your knee to your chest. 1, 2,